Does Kyle Lowry deserve a contract extension at this point in his career? Welcome back to the Raptors Wrap-Up Podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Lingam, and Kyle Lowry is debated to be one of the greatest Raptors of all time, and now we're being discussed if Kyle Lowry should get a contract extension at his age and the production that he does. Does Kyle Lowry deserve another contract? With Serge Ibaka and Marcus Gasol coming off the books next year along with Kyle Lowry, this team looks like it might just start a full rebuild, go with a bunch of young players. They might trade a couple of these guys midway through the season, though Ujiri did say he wants to defend the title and he doesn't want to trade any of those guys. It's tough to see if the Raptors will keep this entire roster from beginning to end throughout this 2020 season, but who knows, crazier things have happened, so we'll see how Ujiri takes it this season. But Kyle Lowry is well deserving of a contract extension in my opinion, and to close out his career with the Raptors would be fantastic. That number 7 is definitely getting retired by the Toronto Raptors franchise and going into the Raptors, and to me he is arguably the greatest Raptor of all time. He's up there with DeMar, with Vince, and it's a debate between those three. You can go either way, but he has the only championship under his belt compared to those two guys, and he has a long tenure too, because Kyle Lowry was here since about the 2012 season, 7 years as a Toronto Raptor. Yes, DeMar DeRozan was drafted by the Raptors. Yes, Vince Carter was drafted by the Raptors, but Kyle Lowry has cemented his legacy and his playing career on the Toronto Raptors. In Houston, he did nothing. In Memphis, he did nothing. And he was considered a coach killer. But the Raptors took him in. They traded Gary Forbes and a pick for Kyle Lowry. That's just a huge steal any way you look at it. And the Raptors became huge. Brian Colangelo deserves credit for that trade. But then Ujiri took over the team a couple years after and just remade it and made it his own team, and this team turned out fantastic. Kyle Lowry, when he first joined the Toronto Raptors, he came from just struggling to get a starting job. Then he had to fight against Jose Calderon to get the starting position in Toronto, and then Ujiri makes a trade to get rid of Calderon, and then it was Kyle Lowry's team along with DeMar DeRozan, and they just took it to another level, made the playoffs, struggled, had some tough outs, and you know what, they grinded their way. The journey was hectic and crazy, up and down all season long, but the Raptors made sure they got to the championship, and that's all that counts, because all that struggling, the journey is what makes it all worth it. All those ups and downs, all the struggles, the LeBron James wall, it was a lot to deal with as a Raptor fan, and it broke your heart a bunch of times. It was just a tough sequence, but that's what made this championship worth it so much. Kyle Lowry, for his career with the Toronto Raptors, is not too shabby at all. Around 17-18 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 38% from the 3-point line, about 42% field goal. Isn't the greatest, but he had to be the first or second option for most of his career on the Toronto Raptors, so you can expect the high volume of shots and the low field goal percentage because there wasn't much supporting help. But Kyle Lowry did a great job of doing that, putting the ball in the basket, and throughout the years, the Raptors franchise was considered chokers and just could not play to their level on the playoffs, which is true to a point, but Kyle Lowry put up some huge games when the Raptors really needed it, especially in the 2016 year where the Raptors made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He put multiple 30-point performances, but it just wasn't enough to beat LeBron James. And even the 2019 championship season, Kyle Lowry came out in that Game 6 and put his imprint on the game. We are not going back to Toronto for Game 7. We're winning it here. And man, he came out on fire. Just hit 3 after 3 after 3. Scoring the ball inside and out. Drawing charges. He just does so much. And that Game 6 was his game. 26-10-7 to put the nail in the coffin that the Raptors are the championship Raptors win the championship over the Golden State Warriors and end their reign and their hopes of a three-peat. But man, gotta hand it to Kyle Lowry. He does so much for this team, and it's beyond basketball. His leadership, his sacrificing his body on the court with those charges. He's always one of the top 5 in drawn charges in the NBA, and that takes a beating, especially from your point guard. He's about like 6 foot, it looks like, when he's on the court. But man, does he take a beating. And leadership, he always delegates to his players to make them better. Like this season, he knew he didn't have to do most of the scoring, but he developed Pascal Siakam. He helped VanVleet get to where he is. He throws those great passes, pushing passes, pushes the pace, and he gets wide open looks for these guys. And that's where their game grows, because you need a playmaker like Kyle Lowry who gets you open shots. And Norman Powell, the OG Anobis, the VanVleets, the Pascal Siakams all benefited from Kyle Lowry's play. And not to mention the JVs and Serge Ibaka. Everybody loved when Kyle Lowry's on the court because he just makes it happen. He makes everything work, and that's exactly what we needed from Kyle Lowry, and that's why he deserves to have another extension. I just believe he has a couple good more years out of him. He'll probably be another All-Star in the East again if the Raptors make it to maybe the 4th or 3rd seed, which I expect them to do, because other than maybe Philadelphia and Milwaukee and Boston, it's a pretty toss-up if they're going to beat us in the standings. Indiana's up there, but you don't really know. So they're trying to mesh Brogdon and Oladipo together, so you don't know if that's really going to turn out well. But I still see the Raptors as a top 4 team in the East, so the Raptors might get 2 All-Stars next season. Otherwise, I really don't see what reason the Raptors would have to let Kyle Lowry go. I know VanVleet's good, but giving an extra 1 or 2 years to Kyle Lowry is not going to hurt anybody. If anything, it will help them develop. And the Raptors have tons of cap space to keep Kyle Lowry anyway. Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, not sure what they're going to do with those guys. But Kyle Lowry, the heart and soul of the Toronto Raptors, and ending his career with the Toronto Raptors would be great. It would be a photo finish, and it would be just a spectacular ending to the season. And you know what? I love Kyle Lowry. He's probably one of my favorite players of all time, and definitely want him to stay on the roster. He did so much for this team. He's the heart and soul of this Toronto Raptors team, and it just wouldn't look the same without Kyle Lowry on this roster. And without DeMar DeRozan this year, it looked weird. And then losing Kyle Lowry back-to-back seasons, it would just be tragic for the fan base. And honestly, I'm trying to go buy a Kyle Lowry jersey sometime next season, and who knows, maybe they'll come with the championship banner or the patch on it. But otherwise, the Toronto Raptors need to sign Kyle Lowry. Great player, great gritty player, superior leader. Just so many good things you can say about Kyle Lowry. And he's on the USA team right now. He's one of the only All-Stars there. But his leadership on that team is going to be massive. Can't wait to see what he does in the summer off-season with the US basketball team, because I know he'll do a great job. Him and Kemba Walker are probably the only All-Stars there. I'm not sure if Mitchell was an All-Star before, but those are the only All-Stars on that team, and the Team USA is looking to those guys to lead them. So honestly, Kyle Lowry, hats off to you. You deserve another extension, but we'll see when the time comes. Until next time, guys. Peace. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Raptors Wrap Up for your weekly Raptors content.